Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. But singing along to Yuletide classics and new holiday favorites is what really makes the holly jolly. CBC Music unwraps the gift of holiday playlists to get you into the festive spirit. From pop to jazz, gospel, folk, blues, classical, country, and so many more. Now available on the CBC Listen app.
You know the feeling of finding a really good podcast? Or the feeling of someone always being there, like your favorite radio show? Stream CBC Podcasts, CBC Music, and CBC Radio anytime, anywhere. Download the CBC Listen
app. This is CBC News. At 12 o'clock, we're at minus 16 degrees with sunny skies over downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Humphrey. Dozens of people signed up to speak at City Hall in support of a motion to lower the speed on Wellington Crescent in Winnipeg. One of the speakers was the widow of a cyclist killed in a hit and run. The CBC's Cameron McLean has your details.
Last week, the City Centre Committee unanimously passed a motion to lower the speed on a section of Wellington Crescent to 30 kilometers per hour. The original draft of the motion from Fort Rouge East Fort Garry councillor Sherry Rowlands would have reduced the speed from River Avenue to Kenaston Boulevard. But after River Heights Fort Garry councillor John Orlico raised concerns about making decisions without advice from traffic engineers, it was changed to end the reduced speed zone at Academy Road. Wendy Van Loon's husband, Rob Jenner, died in June after he was hit by a driver going more than 150 kilometers per hour. She urged the Public Works Committee to revert the motion back to its original version. Rowlands told the committee she's heard from many residents who also support extending the speed reduction to Kenaston. The committee will vote on the motion later today. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
5 remote First Nations in Manitoba will build new schools as part of a federal program. Federal Minister of Indigenous Services Patty Haidu says for decades, Indigenous children in the North have had to leave the community to get their grade 12. The new schools will be in Ochi-Chak-Osipi First Nation, Tatasqueak Cree Nation, Opipon-Napiwin Cree Nation, Norway House, and Garden Hill. Kurt Mason is the education director at Garden Hill. He says the high school right now there is closed because the electrical system has deteriorated, and he has hope for the little children there.
They'll be going to high school in the future, and I'm happy that they're going to have a new school. They don't have to worry about fires. They don't have to worry about heat. They don't have to worry about mold. We have all of those problems at the high school right now.
Mason hopes schools in the communities will lead people there to become educators in the future for northern communities. A program in Winnipeg's West End helping train young people for jobs says fundraisers like today's Light Breakfast are critical to keep them going. The annual local investment toward employment Wild Blueberry Pancake Breakfast has been helping community programs for 25 years. Leslie Kwok with the Spence Neighborhood Association has a young parents employment program partially funded by Light. It provides training, work, and childcare all in one location for young people. Kwok says it's a popular program.
It's huge. This program came about because my youth came to me and said they were having to wait in line for daycare. They were isolated. They were depressed. And they wanted to work.
Kwok says without the programs, young people in the West End have few opportunities to get training and work experience. The latest update on the state of the economy is out this morning, and Statistics Canada says the modest growth we've seen most of this year continued in the third quarter. Here's Peter Armstrong with your details.
No matter how you cut it, these numbers paint the picture of an economy that's really struggling to find its feet. We knew growth was going to be anemic. Initially, the Bank of Canada had forecast third quarter growth would come in around 2.8%. The central bank revised that down to an expectation of around 1.5%. And here we are. These numbers come in even well below that at 1%. If you zoom in on the monthly numbers, August was flat, no growth at all. September edged up by a mere 0.1%. But you probably didn't need a statistical agency to tell you that. Weakness is apparent everywhere you look right now. Real GDP per capita, that fell yet again, marking 6 straight quarters of decline. One of the only glimmers of good news here is that household net savings increased as consumers found a little bit more disposable income. But it's really hard to see that in any way offsetting all of this weakness. It's just abound right now. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.
The British Columbia government has won a case before the Supreme Court of Canada, allowing it to proceed with a class action lawsuit against opioid manufacturers, marketers, and distributors. The province's class action will target 49 pharmaceutical companies on behalf of the federal, provincial, and territorial governments. The suit will call for the various governments to recoup potentially billions of dollars in opioid-related health costs. And Canada's leading media companies are suing OpenAI. The CBC, the Globe and Mail, and others are accusing the artificial intelligence research company of violating copyright and online terms of use. They say OpenAI uses material produced by the media companies to train artificial intelligence products without permission or compensation. And 5 years after a devastating fire, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is about to be reopened to the public.
Mesdames, Messieurs, chers compagnons et chers amis.
French President Emmanuel Macron unveiled the refurbished cathedral during a live broadcast today. New stonework and rebuilt ceilings highlight the massive renovation project. Outside, there's still scaffolding, but the renovated interior is primarily finished and will be open to the public as of December 8th. The cathedral, which attracts millions of visitors each year, was closed after a major fire in the spring of 2019. Looking at the forecast in Winnipeg, sunny skies this afternoon with a high around minus 12. Brandon sunshine and a high of minus 19. In Dauphin, mostly sunny, a high of minus 20 with a bitter wind chill at times. Flin Flon, light snow, a high around minus 13. Thompson, periods of light snow, a high of minus 12. And in Churchill, windy with blowing snow at times, a high of minus 6. Right now, you're listening to CBC Radio 1.
Good afternoon, Manitoba. You're listening to Radio Noon here on CBC Radio 1, 89.3 FM, 990 AM, and everywhere on the CBC Manitoba YouTube page. I'm Corey Funk. Well, coming up this hour on the show, it's been hard to hear this week in the news about a horrific case of animal cruelty and abuse. So today on our call-in conversation, we're going to do a little bit of a timeline cleanse, if you will. We're going to celebrate pets and how they enhance our lives. We're going to open up the phone lines to hear your stories. We're also going to be joined by a vet to talk about how to keep your pet safe during the winter. Plus, we're going to hear about bear safety as well, what they're up to this time of year and how to stay safe if you're out in the woods. And first here on the show, looking out your window to see if plows have cleared the snow is soon a thing of the past, thanks to a new feature that tracks snow plows in our province in real time. Well, when snow slams the province, we often wonder, when will the plows come by to clear it away? Well, now a new feature called Track My Plow will clear the way for Manitobans to watch plows in action in real time on our provincial highways. It's now available on the Manitoba 511 website and smartphone app. And Transportation and Infrastructure Minister Lisa Naylor announced the new feature this morning, and she joins us now by Zoom. Hello. Hello there.
Hi, good morning.
So just describe for us how this Track My Plow works.
This is a really fun new feature, but also a really helpful safety feature on 511 Manitoba. So folks can go on there, and if they click on the little box that shows Track My Plow, they will be able to see every provincially owned plow that's currently operating in the province. And they'll be able to see the trail that it's taken for the previous 2 hours.
And what difference do you kind of hope this makes for Manitobans who hope to hit the highways?
I think this is a really important safety feature for folks to be able to plan their trips a little better, to see what's happening, even sometimes to make decisions about taking a different route, because we know everyone's safer if we give a wide berth to snowplows while they're working, but also to just plan where the clearing has happened and see where the plows are going.
And just to describe this for people, because it is radio, Manitoba 511, it's essentially a map when you go to it, right? And it shows the highway conditions. Show me can you just describe for me how it looks?
At sail. raw milk has also been promoted by the kinds of wellness influencers we were talking about earlier, is controversial because pasteurization kills harmful bacteria and viruses. Now, this week, we've seen bird flu virus detected in raw milk for sale in California, where it's legal to sell in retail stores. So there's a direct connection.
See what roads across the province are completely snow covered, what has blowing snow, what roads are considered clear. And there's also you can actually visualize and see what's happening at different points and junctures. But then with Track My Plow, when you choose that feature, you can physically see the little plows moving. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, they're like little brown, kind of pointy plow. It looks like you're looking at a little cute little computer plow from the top. Yeah,
it is cute. I'm really excited about this feature because it is an opportunity for folks to engage a little more directly, see the work that's being done for them by our snowplow operators, and plan their trips more efficiently and safely.
And where did the incentive to create this feature come from?
I had heard about it last winter, thought it was happening in a couple of other provinces, and I asked our team to look into it. I thought it was an important feature. There's certainly been, a lot of concerns over the last number of years about snow removal in the province, and I thought this would be a helpful feature for people to see the work being done and to plan their trips more safely.
And I can't but wonder, what do plow operators think about this? What do plow operators think about this? Because what does that mean for them?
Yeah, this is certainly something that we worked through with the union that represents our operators. Our operators are out there working hard every day, and I think they are happy to have Manitobans know that. It doesn't track breaks or when they're stopped. It is for when, it does track 2 hours of movement at a time.
Okay. So, and do they have the power to turn it on and off themselves, or how does that technology work?
When they're driving, it will be in operation.
Okay, gotcha. And just before I let you go here, how can people find it, and what's the best way to use it?
Well, people can find it by going on Manitoba 511, and there's a little drop-down box of features, and they can just click on the feature that shows them Track My Plow.
Minister Naylor, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
You're welcome. Take care.
Of transportation and infrastructure. And you can go, as she said, to Manitoba 511 to get the real-time plow updates, or download the Manitoba 511 smartphone app.
Your local news at your fingertips.
CBC News has a local news app made for your phone or tablet.
So don't waste time scrolling for the local stories you want. Just download the app to get the information that matters to you when it happens.
And how you want it.
Another way to get your local news. The CBC News app. Download it today.
12:12 right now here on Radio Noon. I'm Corey Funk, and the rest of the show has a little bit of an animal theme. Well, actually, quite a bit of an animal theme going on. Coming up after 12:30, we're going to be opening up the phone lines to hear your stories about what your pets have come to mean to you. Also, this half hour, coming up in just a few moments here, we're going to check in with Nature Norm, he's called. Find out about bear safety tips for the winter months. Yes, they're not all hibernating right now. You'll be surprised by what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to bear safety. So bear with us, if you will, while we look at your weather. First up, looking at Brandon right now, kind of jealous. You're sunny, even though you are minus 24 right now. Very, very cold in Brandon. And believe it or not, also, Churchill is our hot spot this afternoon. Minus 6 right now in Churchill with some blowing snow at the airport. Dauphin, some light snow right now, minus 21. Flin Flon at the airport, light snow, minus 15 for you. Gillam, light snow and minus 10. Island Lake, light snow, minus 11 right now. Lynn Lake, light snow, minus 17. Portage, also sunny for you right now. You're sitting at minus 18. Our cold spot in the province, Shoal Lake at minus 24. Dooley Lake, sunny, minus 15. Thompson, light snow, minus 15. And here in Winnipeg, partly cloudy, Forks, It's minus 15. Well, winter, it may not actually officially be here yet, but if you look outside, I think it's safe to say winter's here. But for some bears, it's not quite time to climb into their dens and nod off to sleep for a few months. In fact, you'd be surprised just how busy they are as they wind down for the winter. Norm Gregoire is also known as Nature Norm, and he says bears are his favorite subject to talk about. He's the community liaison for Species at Risk at the Sacred Legacy Partnership and gives walking tours throughout the year. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, good, good. I want to know about the bears. How busy are they, this time of year and as they kind of get ready to hibernate?
Yeah, this time of year is a really interesting time for bears. So some of them are going to be already in their dens, going into their winter sleep, and then the remaining ones will be there fairly shortly. So generally speaking, it's going to be the pregnant females, and then maybe the mothers with year-old cubs, followed by younger bears, and then finally the older. Generally speaking, the adult males are going to be last to get into their dens, and that's the simple reason behind that is because as we get more into winter here, there's less food source. So the bears that are going to be able to get those last bits of food are going to be the biggest bears, the ones that are going to outcompete the smaller bears, right? And that goes to the whole point of why do bears go to sleep during the winter? Because of, environmental reasons and a lack of food. So, yeah, they are mostly going to be in their dens at the moment, but it wouldn't surprise me if you saw a big bear walking around still out there.
What could it mean for their behavior then? Are they more aggressive because they're just, amped up trying to load up on food as much as they can, or?
Yeah, so if we rewind a little bit here and let's say the last month or even more, the bears go into a phase in their life. It's called hyperphagia. And this is a time where they're really, really solely focused on eating food, getting a lot of calories in their body, and in anticipation for the upcoming long winter. So to say that they're more aggressive, I wouldn't exactly say that. They are focused on food though, right? And really, do they see people as a food source? No, they do not. Black bears do not regularly predate on people. So they're going to be finishing up those last berries or whatever it might be that they're looking for in the fall.
So what's the move then if they come across a bear this time of year? Is it the same advice any other time of year? Is there anything special you should do?
A general rule of thumb is, any time of year you come across a bear, there's some general rules to sort of follow. First of all, it starts even before you leave your house or your car going out for a hike. There's a few things that you should have with you. One of those, the major one being a canister of bear spray. So bear spray works really good, sort of a last ditch, method if you do have a really close encounter with a bear. You fire this, pepper-based spray into the bear's eyes and their nose. And the nose is really important because the bear family has just about the best sense of smell in the world. And that'll really persuade them to leave you alone, right? It's going to be a hard lesson for the bear, but a good lesson for it. One thing that I would mention with the bear spray is make sure it's actually on your person. I have a little holster that it goes directly on my belt. If you have your bear spray in your hiking bag, then that's not going to do you any good in case you need it quickly, right? Black bears can reach speeds of 40, 45 kilometers an hour at a sprint. So they're not gonna politely wait for you to unzip your backpack and get it all out. So have your bear spray out and accessible. If you're walking by yourself, make some noise, sing to yourself a little bit, whatever it might be. It's better off that you travel in a bit of a larger group, 3, 4, 5 of you going out is more ideal because you're making more noise. There's more smells for the bear to potentially get wind of you. You're not going to surprise a bear. And yeah, it's just a little bit safer going out in numbers.
I know some people like to bring bear bells as a means of preventing bear interaction. Yeah. Is that helpful?
I have my own personal opinions on bear bells that I'm happy to share.
Okay.
So first of all, if using bear bells makes you feel a bit safer going out into the woods, I think that's great because I think it's all about getting out there. Personally, I really do not love the sound of jingle bells while you're walking outside enjoying nature. You're far better off doing exactly what I said, talking a little bit, clapping your hands, whatever it might be. It's I guess for myself, it's just connecting with nature in that regard. Now, there has been some studies done, some research done that actually are saying that bear bells have the potential to attract bears into them. So again, this is just, one or two research papers, but the idea is you have this jingling down the trail, and bears are very curious creatures. They're very opportunistic. So when they hear this jingling bell sound that they've never heard before, there's potential that they could actually get attracted into that sound of bells and come and investigate. So that's something to keep in mind as well in regard with bear bells.
So don't hike in an elf costume or something like that, and with some Christmas cheer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe you can sing along with the jingle bells.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. Well, Norm, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of this fall/winter, whatever you want to call it.
For sure. Thank you very much.
That's Norm Gregoire, or Nature Norm. He's a community liaison for Species at Risk at the Shared Legacy Partnership.
This winter, help us make the season kind by supporting Harvest Manitoba. I'm Vince Barletta, CEO of Harvest Manitoba. All it takes is one can of food, $1, or even 1 hour of your time. Join CBC as we donate a day of programming in support of Harvest Manitoba December 6th. Find ways to give to Harvest Manitoba at cbc.ca/kindmb.
Are there better ways for us to talk to each other? And could that help us build a better society? Novelist and poet Ian Williams wants to start a conversation about conversations. Hi, I'm Nala Ayed. Join me all next week as Ideas presents the 2024 CBC Massey Lectures, What I Mean to Say, Remaking Conversations in Our Time.
Ideas, weeknights at 8:30 in Newfoundland, and on demand on CBC Listen.
12:22 right now. We got time for a little bit of music. Basha Bulat has been tinkering with her song Baby for a number of years, but it never quite sounded right. Then Basha became a mother, and then it all just kind of came together. Here's Basha Bulat with Baby. You're hearing it right here on CBC Radio 1.
Wrong way home again. Some roads never end. Halfway home to my bed. Have you nothing left but in my head, in my sleep, where in my dreaming arms have you been? Can I be brave enough to believe in all this changing up my sleeve? I'll tell you, baby, 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 I don't know. Baby, 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 I don't know. Now when I'm lost, now when I'm blue, what was I thinking if not of you? And of it so
Basha Bulat with Baby. 12:25 right now, and the holiday season is officially on the doorstep. But for a lot of people, Yuletide celebrations begin now in November with trees, decorations, and Christmas music. Others argue not until December, please. Well, the CBC's Karsten Knox headed out on the streets of Halifax to find out when is the right time to begin the holiday festivities.
ASAP, as soon as possible. It's always nice to celebrate.
Have you begun?
No, not me, not yet, but I will very soon.
And what about seasonal music? When do you put that on?
Oh, anytime I find a chance to do that. It's always like refreshing, puts you in a good mood.
I am someone who, because you hear so much of it in the commercials and in the stores, I try not to put on seasonal music until December. But I'm starting to think I'm in the minority.
Oh, yes, you are. End of November, you should start right away.
So right now?
To prepare yourself, exactly.
I mean, if you ask my dad, he would play Christmas music half the year. But I don't know. December?
Never. It's the biggest ripoff there is. It's not Christmas celebrations. It's just sell.
So you don't listen to Christmas music or do anything like that?
I try to block my ears when there's any Christmas music on. And it starts so damn early, it's sickening.
My mom plays it year-round, so it never stopped in my life.
Well, in America, it's usually like they start celebrating Christmas after American Thanksgiving. But I don't know if that's happened yet.
It's this weekend.
It's this weekend. What else is this weekend? Also December 1st.
Sure.
I think it's an appropriate time. Up until then, it doesn't really feel like winter a lot of the time. And when it's the holiday season, especially for me, I like feeling it like being winter.
I would say that the appropriate time is any time after Remembrance Day. Yeah, I think after some of the tough years we've had, the earlier the better for sure. There's a radio station that plays Christmas music 24/7 starting on the 12th, and every year we put that on and we listen to it pretty well most of the day. Sorry to CBC on that, but anyway, that's what we do.
So the moment falls end, we plan like more indoor get-togethers. So every weekend we plan something. I personally don't celebrate Christmas, but I like the spirit of the holiday season. So we always plan something like every weekend.
Wow, and so do you play music or is it food? What is the celebration?
It's mainly food. So we have friends from like different cultures and background, so different cuisines, and we play a lot of board games and then watch movie, yeah.
Let me ask you about Christmas music. When do you feel like putting that on?
Well, you're going to be forced to hear it early November, whether you like it or not, in the stores and shopping and on the radio and whatnot. So I think for me personally, I'm not putting Christmas music on unless it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I hear it enough, involuntarily up until then. So happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
That was CBC's Karsten Knox speaking with people about when it's appropriate to start enjoying the festive season. And full disclosure, actually, I think my wife and I and the kids are going to pick up a Christmas tree this evening. And the idea is that since they're so expensive, the earlier you pick it up, the more bang you get for your buck. So that's the reason we're doing it. It's more of a ROI sort of thing. So stay tuned. We're talking pets after your CBC Winnipeg news.
This is CBC News. At 12:30, we're at minus 15 with sunny skies at times over downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon, I'm Matt Humphrey. Today, dozens signed up to speak at City Hall in support of a motion to lower the speed on Wellington Crescent in Winnipeg. One of the speakers was the widow of a cyclist killed in a hit and run. Last week, the City Centre Committee unanimously passed a motion to lower the speed on a section of Wellington to 30 kilometers an hour. Wendy Van Loon's husband, Rob Jenner, died in June after he was hit by a driver going more than 150 kilometers an hour. Remote First Nations in the north are working with the federal government to build new schools. Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister Patty Haidu was in Winnipeg to make the announcement. 5 projects are being funded in the latest federal budget. They include Ochi-Chak-Kosipi First Nation, Norway House Cree Nation, Tatasquiac Cree Nation, Opipon-Napiwin Cree Nation, and Garden Hill. Chief Kerwin Shaboyer from Ochi-Chak-Kosipi says a new school will help people in their community.
Just over 30 years ago, we were built a temporary school, and we've since outlived it. And it's going to be good to see our kids go to K-12 in our community and have the parental support instead of having to leave.
The leadership of the communities hope the schools will also encourage more young people to take up teaching as a profession and ultimately stay in those remote communities. A 25-year tradition is helping a West End program give young people the skills they need to find work. This morning is the annual Local Investment Toward Employment, or LIGHT, Wild Blueberry Pancake Breakfast. Leslie Kwok with the Spence Neighborhood Association runs a number of youth employment programs funded in part by the LIGHT Breakfast. Several of the young people helped flip pancakes for this morning's fundraiser.
We give them a start with their resumes, their identification, building their confidence, building their skill set. So without that, I don't know, I would really hate to think there's really nothing else in the West End for them right now.
Kwok says another popular program they run is the Young Parents Employment Program. It gives people aged 13 to 29 job training and work with on-site daycare. Kwok says the idea for the program came from the young people themselves. And finally, in case you missed it, the Manitoba government is launching a new feature called Track My Plow. It's available on the Manitoba 511 website and smartphone app. It'll show users where active snowplows are and where they have been in the past 2 hours. 511 already offers road conditions and closures, but the province says the new feature will help drivers make travel plans. And that's your CBC News from Winnipeg.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Back soon.
That is Matt Humphrey at our CBC News desk. I'm Corey Funk. Welcome to Radio Noon, and we are going to be talking pets right away here. We're actually... with the news this week of new charges against a couple accused of abuse and killing animals, we wanted to have a conversation today that reflects the love folks have for their pets, doing a bit of a timeline cleanse. So share your stories. Why do you love your pet? We're opening up the phone lines now, 204-780-0893. That's 204-780-0893. And we have a veterinarian standing by as well. But first, let's take a look at your weather. Radley Late, Chuck. Actually, the sun came out. Oh, it's actually might even be out a little bit right now, and it feels like a real treat.
Blue sky. Speaking of pets and the love for pets, I would love some pet photos for the dog walking forecast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Always.
What's
always.
the email?
Talkback@cbc.ca, all one word.
Okay, send that in.
I want to see the name of your pet. Of course, I want to see a picture of your pet and who the pet's people are.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, more pets the better.
Always show them on the air. I'm going to start with the morning lows from this morning. So minus 16 first thing this morning in Winnipeg. A full 11 degrees colder in Brandon at minus 27. It was close to minus 40, factoring in the wind chill. That's frostbite on exposed skin in about 10-15 minutes.
Wild.
So, yeah, a cold morning, close to minus 30 around the Riding Mountain region. Roblin getting to minus 29 early this morning, minus 11 in comparison for Dryden and Fort Francis, where this stratus cloud deck had been just sitting, and it's still kind of stalled out over parts of northwestern Ontario. Minus 16 in Winnipeg right now. Brandon's at minus 23. Thompson at minus, let me take a look at that, 15 degrees at the moment. So that stratus cloud deck that's just been stalled out over southern, or the Red River Valley in particular, has started to kind of finally push its way off. This Arctic ridge that came in over the overnight period last night into the morning this morning, just strong enough to kind of start to get that cloud pushed off a little bit further to the east. So still a mostly cloudy sky, some sunny breaks into northwestern Ontario, but we're starting to see that cloud finally lifting a bit. It's short-lived. I will tell you that right now. It is short-lived. General mix of sun and clouds through the Red River Valley today. Mostly sunny skies to the west. Bit of cloud starts to build in as we get through the overnight period again. So we're back to a mainly cloudy sky across southern Manitoba. A bit more sun to the west again, and extreme southern Manitoba again. more like a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. But we're back to a mostly cloudy sky for Winnipeg as we get through Saturday into Sunday. We are back into that dreary weather for the next couple of days. We are looking at winds sticking around as well. Northwest 20 gusting to 40 through the afternoon hours in Winnipeg, backing off a bit into the day, into the night tonight, into the day tomorrow. More like west 15 gusting to 30, but we will see winds along the Hudson Bay coast in particular really picking up as we get into the overnight period tonight into the day tomorrow. So Churchill looking at winds gusting 40 gusting 60, some gusts up to 70 or higher along the Hudson Bay coast, even as far south as Gillam, looking at some very gusty winds as we head through the day Saturday. We'll start to see those dying off a bit as we get through into the day on Sunday. Winnipeg today, I've got us at -12 this afternoon. Optimistically, this Arctic ridge will keep us quite cold as we get through the afternoon hours today. So we may not get to that -12. I'm holding out hope that the sun will help us get there through the afternoon hours today. Brandon, -21. A few lingering flurries into northern Manitoba, Thompson into the Lynn Lake region. -12 in Winnipeg tomorrow, -8 for Sunday, mix of sun and clouds, -11 for Monday, and then periods of light snow for Tuesday with a high of -10.
Thank you very much, Riley.
You're welcome.
That is Riley Lachuk, our CBC weather specialist and climate change reporter. Well, we have reached the call-in portion of the afternoon show or of the noon show here. And you know that phrase, when someone adopts a pet, I don't know who saved who. Well, call in and prove it. Tell us your stories. What has your pet meant to you? We're opening up the listener lines now. 204-780-0893. Has your pet helped you through tough times? Can your pet do something wonderful that you just want to share about? Does you just have a neat story about your pet? Give us a call, 204-780-0893. You can also text us, 204-588-7355. Also with us, we have Dr. Jonas Watson, a veterinarian at the Grant Animal Hospital here in Winnipeg. Hi there.
Hi, Corey. How are you doing?
Good. So, I always want to know, as a vet, I imagine, do you have pets? And if so, what do you love about them?
I do have pets. I've got dogs. I have a cat, other small creatures too. They're what do I love about them? I love their loyalty, their devotion. I love going to sleep and having my little senior citizen cat come and lie down, next to me with her whiskers touching my face as we sleep. And then when I turn to the other direction, she climbs over my head and does the same thing on the other side. I like how my dogs greet me when I get home at the end of the day. There's nothing like our animal companions. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Now, I know it's around this time of year when owners decide to spoil their pets, but I imagine there must be some hazards as well that they can pose when you really kind of just throw whatever at them in hopes of making them happy, but sometimes that might actually do the reverse, yeah?
Yeah, certainly as the holidays approach, there are all sorts of holiday things that we have to keep in mind when it comes to pets. Obviously, most pet owners are quite familiar with chocolate toxicity, and there's a lot of chocolate goes around during the holiday time around Christmas. So you do have to be careful about leaving chocolate around, especially the dark chocolate, baking chocolate. The darker the chocolate, the more toxic it is. So you do have to sort of watch out. Most pet owners are pretty conscientious about that. Also, things that you use to decorate, tinsel and ribbons and that sort of thing can be dangerous. When cats ingest them, they can get into big problems that require major surgery. So you just have to be aware of leaving things around that animals might ingest. And then as soon as animals might be showing sign of illness, get them to the vet promptly.
Do you see an uptick of animals coming in with, I guess I would say, holiday-related injuries or illnesses?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the day after a big holiday meal, there are many dogs that will get into a chicken carcass or a turkey carcass, that sort of thing. People like to feed, holiday scraps to pets, and that can, if those are high fat or if they upset stomachs, we can see things like diarrhea and vomiting. Pancreatitis is associated with the ingestion of high fat foods. And then foreign materials, if an animal swallows something, it might get stuck. They may require surgery. So yeah, holidays are a time where we see a whole an uptick in certain types of maladies for sure.
Give us a call. This is a call-in conversation. We're opening up the phone lines. Share your stories. Why do you love your pets? 204-780-0893, 204-780-0893. This time of year, you're starting to see more dogs wearing booties and jackets. And sometimes you think that, is that just because it's cute, or does they actually serve a purpose? What do you think, what should owners know about, what their dogs need when it comes to actually keeping warm when it's cold outside like this?
Yeah, I think, some dogs are very rugged and resilient and don't require those sorts of accoutrements to go out into our cold Winnipeg winters. But there are some dogs, especially short-coated dogs and some smaller breed dogs, that are a little bit less resilient. So those dogs with very fine coats that might need to wear sweaters in the colder weather. Boots are kind of nice for keeping your feet cool, but also, dogs with bristly feet like retrievers and others will get snow chunks and ice chunks stuck between their toes, which can be quite bothersome to them when they go on walks, and you'll see them stop every 15 feet to chew chunks of ice out of their feet. So boots can help with that, as can certain balms that you can buy to apply to the paws, and also even just Vaseline can be helpful to keep snow and ice out of that fur. So yes, these are nice. There's a lot of nice outerwear for animals that is aesthetically appealing, but they do serve a purpose too, these items.
Another thing, just kind of tied to recent news, not so much the holidays, but I guess perhaps maybe if you like to serve up vegetables, there was more news this week about E. coli outbreak. So this time, organic carrots were the culprit. Millions of people in Canada and the U.S. were asked to check their fridges and throw them out. And on Monday, CBC's health contributor Dr. Iris Gorfinkel described how the E. coli can contaminate an entire ecosystem. Here, have a listen to this.
It has the ability to produce a toxin called Shiga toxin. And surprise, it's sometimes found in the gut of healthy dairy and beef cattle. And it doesn't harm them because they don't have the cells that allow the bacteria to make toxin. But they can poop this bacteria out, where it can infect nearby lakes, streams, rivers, ponds, and where wildlife like raccoons and geese pick it up. Now, imagine an industrialized farm. It's housing hundreds, sometimes thousands of animals. These are not closed systems. Mice, rats, cats, dogs, birds, they enter, they can pick up that toxin-producing E. coli, leave, and later poop it into a lake, stream, or river, or onto a crop.
That's Dr. Iris Gorfinkel explaining how E. coli can get transmitted throughout an entire ecosystem. So that kind of brings up the question, Doctor, could E. coli or other infectious diseases be found in raw pet foods at all?
Well, I think, the quality control of most commercially available raw pet foods is pretty good, such that I think manufacturers are pretty on top of, or ought to be on top of, ensuring that infectious disease like Salmonella or E. coli are not present in their products. I certainly have we've got lots of clients that feed raw foods to their pets, and I have yet to come across any animals or pet owners that have gotten sick as a result of using raw food. Some raw foods come in sort of freeze-dried formulations. Others come as raw frozen patties that you can purchase. Obviously, when you're handling raw meat or raw dog food and cat food, you should use, the obvious kinds of good husbandry, good sanitation protocols. Make sure that you clean things, wash your hands, that sort of thing. But if you do, I'm not sure that we're at great risk of feeding raw foods to animals. You just sort of have to be careful and make sure that you are sourcing diets that appear to be reliably manufactured and ones that have a pretty good reputation.
204-780-0893. Give us a call if you have a question for the doctor who we have here about your pet and their safety, or also if you just want to share a story about why you love your pet, you can give us a call, 204-780-0893. In terms of if people are, some people like to wrap up little gifts for their pets, and sometimes those are types of food. Is there any kind of treat that pets would love, but also, doesn't actually, hurt their health at all that you would suggest for folks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking around my own clinic. The things that we're selling holiday themed products that we're selling tend to be little stuffies with squeakers in them for dogs, cat toys that are filled with catnip, or that you can add catnip to, those kinds of things. Products that are relatively indestructible or fairly resilient, so they don't get ripped apart. And any chewy items that you might give to your dog ought not be so hard that they might fracture teeth on them while chewing them. So we're not the veterinary community are not huge fans of real bones or antlers from deer, even these yak milk products that have become popular. These things that are very hard that dogs like chewing on definitely pose a risk to fracturing teeth, which then leads to a pretty hefty veterinary bill as a result of us having to extract fractured teeth. So chewy items that have a little bit of give to them, or cartilaginous type, organic type chewy products you can buy for dogs, and then stuffy, squeezy, plush type dog toys make good choices for holiday gift giving.
Dr. Watson, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
That's Dr. Jonas Watson. He's a veterinarian at the Grand Animal Hospital in Winnipeg.
Manitoba's the kind of place that draws you in. Every day it's growing, it's changing. Just when you think you've got it figured out, though, there's something new to understand. I'm Marcy Marcusa, host of the CBC Daily Podcast. This is Manitoba. I've covered the news from the rail line in Churchill to the border in Emerson, and it's talking about the local stories that help us understand this place. That's what This is Manitoba is all about. Find it on CBC Listen or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Hi, I'm Saroja Coelho, host of the Saturday afternoon call-in show Just Asking, now expanding to 2 hours.
And I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing, host of the Sunday afternoon call-in show Cross Country Checkup.
Whether it's world events
or what's happening in your backyard,
every weekend we connect Canada live.
That's Just Asking with Saroja Coelho, Saturday afternoons at 4 Eastern.
And Cross Country Checkup with Ian Hannah-Mansing, Sunday afternoons at 4 Eastern on CBC Radio 1.
Time now is 12:47, and have you heard the news today? Ringo Starr of the Beatles has pretty much confirmed that actor du jour Barry Keoghan will be playing him in director Sam Mendes' upcoming Beatles movie. And in case you haven't heard, there will be 4 films, one from the perspective of each of the 4 band members. None of the actors playing the Beatles have been officially confirmed, but Starr recently told Entertainment Tonight that Keoghan is already taking drum lessons to prepare for the role, and the 4 films are set to be released in 2027. In the meantime, here's a tune you might hear in the Beatles movies, sang by Ringo Starr himself. This is Yellow Submarine.
In the town where I was born lived a man who sailed to sea, and he told us of his life in the land of submarines. So we sailed on to the sun till we found the sea of green, and we lived beneath the waves in our yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. And our friends are all aboard, many more of them live next door, and the band begins to play. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. Live a life of ease
That, of course, is Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. And singing that is the Ringo Starr, who's going to be played by Barry Keoghan in the upcoming 4-part Beatles movies coming out in 2027. So you got to wait a little bit of time before you can see that. Well, 12:51 right now here on Radio Noon. And if you find yourself on PEI, you'll likely see woven Mi'kmaq baskets at craft shops around the island. And one gallery in the town of Victoria by the Sea is offering workshops to teach people how to make them. Mi'kmaq artist Noella Moore is teaching the workshops, and CBC's Isabel Gallant dropped by to learn more.
So this here will go behind here. Yep.
My name's Olivia Olick, and we're making baskets.
I'm Laura Karras, Olivia's mother.
And so have either of you made a basket before?
Never. It's a lot more challenging than one would expect, and I have a huge appreciation every time I'm going to look at a basket in the future.
So where do you live most of the year? Where are you from?
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, I live New York City. And so, having come here for so long, do you know, like, had you heard of Mi'kmaq baskets before? Is it something you're familiar with?
Yes, I would say in going to different museums and learning about, the crafts of the island and things like that, it was definitely something we were interested in. It's great being here, and, we just enjoy every second of PEI.
Hi, I'm Noella Moore. I'm from Summerside, PEI. I learned back in 2003 from two elders from Lennox Island.
So this is one of your baskets.
Yes.
This is the goal for today?
Yes. I decided to try a round. Usually they're square, but today it's a challenge.
What do you like about teaching?
I love when they're done with their basket, and just I could feel their energy. They're so proud of what they made. I love that.
So today you're doing a round basket, but you've done a few others as well.
Yes.
Can you tell me just about the different kinds that you've taught here?
I've taught bread basket, muffin basket, today's nice round basket. What I'm using is reed, and I order it from Ontario or in the States. And there's a wide variety of sizes, like 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. They're working with the round reed right now, where you twist it back and forth. And all these here, I dye myself when I want all the different colors.
And I know that traditionally some Mi'kmaq baskets were made of pounded ash as well. Do you ever use that material in your own work?
That's how I learned, was with the ash. It's a lot more work. So the reason I'm using the reed, they don't have to shave it, where with the white ash you do.
Yeah. What kind of interest have you seen from participants?
Well, they keep coming back. And just the technique. Each basket is different, so they're learning different techniques.
And what does it mean to you to be able to pass on these Mi'kmaq traditions, these Mi'kmaq techniques?
When I first started, they were saying that it was dying art. And then when I started learning and catching on to it, I thought, no, it's not going to be a dying art. I'm going to teach, whether you're Mi'kmaq or whatever. And they love it.
Lock it in.
So you go on top of this, and from there, count to 3.
Now you're
1,
getting
2,
tricky.
3. And then you tuck.
That's some of the participants in a basket weaving workshop at the Birch Tree Gallery in Victoria by the Sea, PEI. You also heard from the instructor, Mi'kmaq artist Noella Moore.
The CBC Music Top 20. CBC Music Live.
All right.
Savor the flavor of the Francophone world on C'est Formidable. Experience the next wave of Indigenous music with Reclaim. The global sounds of frequencies. End your day or start your late night with music on CBC Radio 1. Weeknights at 11:30 in Newfoundland, and on demand on CBC Listen.
Hi, I'm Matea Roach, and I have a new show on CBC. It's called Bookends. Every week, authors from Canada and around the world will join me to discuss their latest books. We'll have best-selling authors and rising stars. Our conversations will be smart and surprising, because when the book ends, the conversation begins.
Bookends with Matea Roach premieres Sunday afternoon at 1:30 in Newfoundland, 3 Pacific, and on demand on CBC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
Bit of a topsy-turvy day weather-wise out there. Not only is Churchill the warm spot right now at -6, but it's the difference between Winnipeg and Brandon is wild. Right now in Brandon, actually, it's tied for the cold spot with Shoal Lake. Right now, sitting at -24, but with that wind chill, might feel a little bit more like -36. So bundle up in Brandon. Here in Winnipeg, it's not quite as cold, but still fairly cold out there. -16 right now. Still expected to reach a high today of -12, and enjoy a little bit of sun as well, which seems like a bit of a growing rarity these days. It is going to start to cloud over a little bit again as the weekend settles in here in Winnipeg. -11 is the high tomorrow, then -8 on Sunday. So it's still a little bit slightly more mild than it has been the past few days. We are coming up to the end of Radio Noon, but from 3 to 6 today, Up to Speed is going to bring some more quality local programming your way, and Emily Brass is hosting. She's here in studio. Tell us a little bit about what's ahead. Hello there.
Hey, Corey.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, the holiday season is coming really quickly, and what better way to get into a festive mood than a hot and tasty beverage? The Exchange District Biz is kicking off its hot beverage week on Sunday. 20 cafes, restaurants, and bars are taking place, and you can vote for the winner. You can win a gift card once you vote. There's things like the I think it's like the mocha candy cane bomb. There's like tasty like things that are like mulled beer with different like herbs and spirits in it. Like
that sounds so good.
It runs the gamut. There's vegan options, lots of tasty things. So we're going to speak with somebody from the Exchange District Biz right first thing on Up to Speed.
I could really go for a horchata.
Yeah, there's a horchata one.
Okay, I thought
this
this time I'm looking for for a recipe. I'm like, maybe I should make
There
a
is
horchata
one.
this evening. That sounds really nice. Okay, well, thank you, Emily. Now I know what I'm doing when I'm going home. Thank you.
I know, and that, like only 1 week to check out 20 of these beverages.
Okay.
You're gonna have to choose wisely.
Okay, I will. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Maybe I'll just try all of them. That is Emily Brass. She's hosting Up to Speed this afternoon from 3 to 6. Big thanks to everyone who helped put together today's show. Sierra Sanders, Marshall Hodgins, Wendy Parker, and Kevin Nipatebo. I'm Corey Funk, and I really hope that whatever you find yourselves up to this weekend, if you maybe are those folks who might start getting into the festive spirit a little bit more, or not, hope you end up doing something you love with the people you love. Coming up on CBC Radio 1, CBC Podcast Showcase. Have a good weekend.